Yes, it's your girl Paige, back at it again with yet another video for you hoes. Right, today we're going to be talking about something that I honestly, genuinely did not want to talk about. I kind of feel like my opinion is an extremely unpopular opinion. I know underneath the comment section of this video is going to be absolute anarchy, so if you don't see me commenting and like it, that's why, because I'm just going to keep my head out because I'm going to say what I have to say and then keep it pushing. But so many of you have asked for my opinion on this entire situation, and I mean so many people have added me, have DM'd me, have asked me a plea of plight for me to share my thoughts on the situation. You must expose this company. And it's just like, the reason I've abstained from doing it is because I have an extremely opposing opinion and I'm gonna make a lot of people mad. So without further ado, let's get straight into the drama and I'll explain everything to do with Studio Mucci, Hotels.com and Lisa Frank in a Lisa Frank hotel. It is one hot goddamn mess, but I am sure we're gonna get through it straight after this intro.
Most of these bitches is petty, 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 petty. Most of these bitches is petty.
Okay, so recently Hotels.com have partnered with Lisa Frank to create the Lisa Frank themed hotel room at the Barsala Hotel. I hope I've pronounced that right. In Los Angeles. It's supposed to be open from the 11th of October right the way through to the 27th. And the room is supposed to cost around $199 to stay there per night. And it features a lot of complimentary Lisa Frank items, such as like Lisa Frank robe with a Lisa Frank slipper set with Lisa Frank eye masks, as well as a variety of other 90s inspired treats. Anyway, once news of this hotel room opening up, it sold out very, very, very quickly. So basically the collaboration has come under fire recently after Amina Mucci, I've probably done that so bad. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, so we're going to call it Mucci, came out criticising the collaboration as ripping off her artwork and in turn causing her to be evicted from her home. Okay, so who is involved? Well, we have Amina, who is a 36-year-old influencer and founder of Studio Mucci, who is most well known for her Studio Mucci Instagram account that has over 250,000 followers. She also has her own YouTube channel that has over 121,000 followers, Twitter that has over 17.2 thousand followers, and a Facebook page that has over 20,000 likes and follows. Then we have Studio Mucci, which in essence started in 2011 as an Etsy shop, and are famous for their whimsical goods, handmade tassel garlands, piñatas, balloons, etc, etc, etc. Then we have Lisa Frank Incorporated. Lisa Frank qualifies as a private for-profit company formed in 1979 in Tucson, Arizona, and is under the founder and the CEO, Lisa Frank. The company is extremely well known for their colourful and psychedelic designs featured on a variety of different media, extremely well known throughout the 80s by the 80s generation kids. And they will most likely remember Lisa Frank being on their school supplies, backpacks, packed lunches, etc, etc. Just a side note, Lisa Frank has come under fire under various different separate incidents that's happened that has been highlighted by Jezebel.com. Apparently, allegedly, according to sources, people have said it is a terrible place to work, and allegedly the company has famously poor practices. So at this point, I don't feel like Lisa Frank is kind of held in the same regard that they once were in the 80s, if that makes any sense. And lastly, we have Hotels.com. They're a website for booking hotel rooms across the world. I personally use Booking.com, I prefer it. It originally started as HRN, the Hotel Reservations Network, before it became a part of Expedia, and in 2002 it changed its name to Hotels.com. The company is operated by Hotels.com LP and is a limited partnership company located in Dallas, Texas in the United States of America. Right, now that we know who's involved, let's get into the tea. Okay, so the situation went public when Amina Mucci ended up posting to social media that she feels as if she may be losing her home because of the Lisa Frank Hotel. She tweeted the following to her social media. She said, "I believe I'm being evicted because of the Lisa Frank Hotel. Our landlord refused payment and wanted us to be out before the launch. The Lisa Frank Hotel is in our development and is very similar to our home that I designed in 2017. I think they were trying to get rid of the competition. Me." She posts a series of comparison images, which I will leave on the screen right now, between the newly veiled Lisa Frank room and her apartment, which she has dubbed Cloudland. She also included 2 text messages explaining her views in further detail. Pause to read if you are interested. Amina states that her and her husband are being evicted from their residence after 3 years of living next to the neighbouring multi-storey development. And they suspect that it might be an attempt to capitalise off the similarity between the Lisa Frank apartment and her apartment, aka Cloudland. Amidst the hype of the already extremely hard to get limited stay Lisa Frank hotel rooms. Another thing to note is that the Lisa Frank flat, or apartment if you will, is housed in a sister building which is owned by the same developers and is run by the same business management company. Amina continues to tweet. She states, "The company is trying to get rid of us again so they can use the space in the same way. They clearly see the value in a colourful design." Amina further stated on Twitter, "I believe that I'm being evicted because of the Lisa Frank Hotel. Our landlord refused to accept rent payment and wanted us out no later than October. We thought it was strange he was so specific about the time frame, but we fought it." She continues, "And then, sure enough, in the beginning of October, we learnt the Lisa Frank apartment was in our rental development and owned by the same people trying to evict us. Then we saw that it looks suspiciously similar to our own home, Cloudland, that is designed and shared in 2017. I am in no way saying it is a room-for-room remake, but the inspiration is extremely obvious. The kitchen was a complete rip-off." She also acknowledged previous financial struggles, noting that there was a time when they needed to pay rent late on a few occasions. She said, "We needed to pay rent late. The landlord accommodated every late payment as we ultimately always paid. However," she then stated, "this last time we needed to pay late but we were refused. Everyone, including the landlord's lawyer, thought that they were being unreasonable and didn't understand the motivation to get us out before this October deadline. It all became clear to us when we saw the Lisa Frank Hotel, which completely ripped us off." Amina went on to speak to Undercover LA about how she found out about the Lisa Frank hotel room. "Just because of my community. People were tagging me on Instagram and asking me if it was my place and if I did it. My initial reaction was shock and confusion because I immediately thought it looked like my house, but I questioned myself a lot too." Adding, "We are a couple of weeks of late rent, and that was their reasoning for the eviction notice. They simply said that this decision comes straight from the owner and we want you out. They proceeded to threaten us, promising that if there were any delays that they would make it difficult for us to ever rent again." Amina, talking about the situation further, states, "It's been very distracting and confusing. To be honest, my life is pretty stressful, so this was a really traumatic experience, but I often have to face challenges being someone who is different, but also doesn't have a lot of support in terms of representation. I often have work copied or stolen from me, but to have something so personal like my home, something that I put much love, hard work and time into, completely ripped off without credit, felt very violent and personal." She continues, "I just felt powerless, especially with the added layer of my landlord's involvement. I grew up with Lisa Frank products as a child, so I've always had positive associations with the brand. Sadly, she's a hero, no more to me." Okay, so that is the entirety of the situation. The sister building to the building that she's already in had decided to put up the Lisa Frank Hotel. She felt as if it was a complete rip-off of her apartment. I don't necessarily think it was, personally, because the apartment structure is very similar to a lot of apartment structures. It's kind of like if you go into one home in the UK, there are going to be like 50 billion other homes in the UK that look similar. And if they were going to be modeling the Lisa Frank aesthetic, of course they would be painting everything in a bright, colourful manner. And plus, one thing about Cloudland versus Lisa Frank is very hard-hitting, dense colours, whereas Cloudland is a lot of pastels. I think that the whole layout, etc., and the way that they've chosen to decorate the apartment is basically simply just due to the fact that it's a small apartment in Los Angeles. Like, there will only be pretty much one or two aesthetically pleasing ways to lay your furniture. There will only be one or two aesthetically pleasing ways to put the Lisa Frank stamp on a kitchen. If I was going to be creating a, I don't know, Groovy Chick, which was huge in my era, if I was going to be doing a Groovy Chick hotel, I'd be putting Groovy Chick all over the cabinets too. I don't think that that was somebody just ripping off an idea. The idea of painting cabinets is not new. It's not a new concept. Okay, so here's the public opinion. Lisa Frank's superfans who are excited about this new venture have been taking a lot of hits on social media from people who feel like this is a complete injustice to a black social media star and content creator. So an Instagram user by the name of @NikkiSparks said the following. She said, "I've been a fan since I was 3 and I'm 30 now. I did not expect this. The boycotting is overwhelming. I was the first to stay at the hotel and I can't even post any of my pictures without hate mail. I rented this room for Lisa Frank and for my childhood, not for the LA developer and the design team." LA-based entertainment journalist Roxy Tart took down her Lisa Frank hotel posts and photographs as a result of the backlash. In a post on October 13th, she wrote, "I wanted to let everyone know that I'm aware of the situation between @StudioMucci and I've taken down my photos supporting the Lisa Frank flat. To be clear, I don't know Amina and I don't know the full story of what's happening behind the scenes, none of us do. However, I do not work for Lisa Frank, Hotels.com or Barsala, and I do not appreciate being harassed and threatened because I went to the flat before any of this came out. So please put down the pitchforks and torches and stop harassing me and my friends and the people who got to visit. Thank you." Tart was also quoted saying the following. She said, "Trying to cancel since yesterday because I'm honestly afraid of the backlash if I go. At the moment, I'm waiting to hear back from the hotel to see if they will refund my money." Adding, "On a personal level, I was shocked Sunday morning when I woke up to all the messages." Tart tells us, "By the time I took down my photos and had the full story, as much of it as any of us can have, I was disgusted by the people's behaviour and how quickly it became a witch hunt. The people I really felt bad for were my friends that I took with me and the owner of the site I was writing for. None of them, or me, or anyone else who is involved deserved that kind of an attack." However, there are a lot of people who are criticising Amina also, and this is what it is that they have to say on social media too. "This is why home ownership is something that everyone should work for. This is what happens when you rent and you don't own the place. Landlords can tell you that you've got to go and you have to obey it. You can't paint your damn face on a wall and everything when it's still not your place. It's sad what's happening to her, but she did way too much on a place that she was only renting. I rent and there is no way I would paint the walls all kinds of colours. I will get charged, so it's not happening. I don't think that she can sue. Like, what can she actually sue for? She doesn't own the property and her idea is not a trademark or a patent issue. She could be petty and paint the place all white or stay until the law forces her out, but that's really all that she can do." Somebody else said, "Sigh, I knew that there would be a GoFundMe link from the title alone. As usual, people will fall for it and provide her and her husband all the funds that they are asking for. I seen that and wouldn't give her shit. It sucks what's happening to her, but there's no reason for anyone to give her money for it." Okay, so personally speaking, Studio Mucci does not have grounds to sue. What they did was not defamation or slander. What they did was not patented. What they did was not copyright infringing. what they did was just sucky. Let me tell you a quick story about one of my friends. I've got a dear friend. She is married with 2 children. I love her immensely, one of my closest friends. We've been friends since university. Now, my friend has been saving up for a very long time in order to buy her own home. That is her goal, which is ultimately stifled by the fact that she does have 2 children already. But she's striving and working for it. This year will mark the 2nd year in a row, just before Christmas time, that she has had to move homes because her landlord has said, I want to sell now. The 2nd time. Those kind of movements for a family is extremely hard. But unfortunately, regardless of the situation, she has no legs to stand on. She doesn't own the property. I understand that Studio Mucci feels like her artwork is being taken away, but unfortunately, she has no ownership over the artwork. I saw a post from her a couple of days prior to the situation, which I'll try and put on the screen somewhere at the moment, where she met up with the developers of Barbie, who wanted to make like a Barbie inspired by her hair, and she stated that she wanted to be paid for it because her hair was a living piece of artwork. And that she was letting them know that she was extremely serious if they tried to copy her artwork. And I was just like, your hair is an artwork, a piece of art, honey. Like, you've got colourful hair. You've got Coletalon bundles in your hair. Like, I don't understand this level of ownership that she takes for every single thing that she does. Especially when none of her ideas, unfortunately, I'm going to say as blunt as possible, is not new, it's not revolutionary, it's stuff that she's put together, which is very symbolic of what it is that she does, but she cannot take ownership for it. I understand that she lives in LA and it is extremely difficult to buy a place in LA, or buying in general is just a whole ass difficult thing. If anything, instead of using that money to fight a court case that you will most definitely lose, how about go take that GoFundMe money, which personally I feel is an unethical GoFundMe, but that's just my personal opinion. Take that GoFundMe money and put it as a deposit on a new house so that you never have to go through that again. I would much rather you invest that money into something great than to waste it fighting a private for-profit company who probably have the means to keep you within the court system for years and years and months, and the amount of lawyers' fees that you'd have to spend just to try and keep up with a company of that size would be absolutely out of this world. Is it shitty what's happening to her? 100%. Is it not fair? 100%. Is it just the way that the world works and she has to just pull up her bootstraps and be a big girl? Yes. The world isn't all sparkly rainbows and cloudland. It just really isn't. Sometimes you're gonna come up against a really horrible landlord. Sometimes you're gonna go to a restaurant and people are gonna treat you like crap. But the world is unfair and the world is cruel, and unfortunately that's the world that we live in. It doesn't mean that she shouldn't have been vocal about how she feels, but I feel like stating that it was a complete rip-off was just a reach way too far. And then the GoFundMe link just left a sour taste in my mouth. And we're also talking about a girl who has been many weeks late on her rent on several occasions, which under any circumstances is grounds for somebody to say, I don't want to work with you anymore. Do I feel like the company wanted to capitalize off the exposure of the Lisa Frank Hotel? Most definitely. But it just sucks. Like, I don't know what to tell you, sis. It just sucks. Use the money from your GoFundMe to put a deposit down on a house that you can paint until your heart's desire. And if you really want to be petty, the level of petty that Penny Paige would be, paint every single goddamn thing in that house whiter than whitely white. Blankety blank, white, eggshell white, Caucasian white. So that if they really want to make money from Cloudland, that they're going to have to do the work themselves. But that would just be the way that I would handle it. You can get some cheap chalk paint from your local hardware store and get that stuff done in a day. But that's just my 2 cents on the whole entire situation. Anyway, tell me what it is that you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you feel like this was extremely unjust? How do you feel about her being late on her rent, which was not something that she was upfront with in the beginning? Also, how do you feel about her taking ownership of things that aren't necessarily things to take ownership of? Like, I couldn't do decor in my home and then say, nobody else can do this because I don't get that kind of mentality. Tell me what it is that you think about all of these different things in the comment section down below. I'm just gonna stay out of the comment section because I know for a fact there's gonna be a bunch of people just sitting there going, you don't understand what it means to have your art stolen. And I'm just like, people steal some shit that I do all the time, like from catchphrases to the way that I say things and do things, but I can't take ownership of that. I can't say, I did it first, so you can't do it. It's just the way the world works, unfortunately. So when you are doing you, just make sure you do you better than they could ever do you. Imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery. Anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like it, if you don't, I don't give a shit anyway. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification with the bell so that you guys get a notification every single time. Hello. The Petty Paige was new content, yes! We're posting new content all the time, yes! Anyway, that's about it from me, so until next time, don't take my opinion for it because I'm just Petty! Yes, just Petty! You've been out all day, you look mucky. You look mucky, sir. Harry Muffin. Ah! Okay, ow! Bye!
Petty, 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 petty. Petty, 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 petty. Most of these bitches is petty.